What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. So this is 90 Day Fiancé. This is the tell-all part 2. So we had 3 major stories, and then we kind of revisited something with Mike and Natalie towards the end. So let's start with how this episode ended. The episode started with Amira and Andrew. Amira saying she refuses to come on camera. If Andrew is there, she doesn't want to talk to him. She doesn't want to see him. She doesn't want him around. She's not going to let him control her anymore. Andrew saying, well, listen, if I can't talk, then I'm not going to be a part of this conversation. Which I 100% understand. Whether you like Andrew or not, whether you think that Andrew was good to Amira or not, he has a right to respond in real time to what she's saying about him. And if she's afraid of him, like she kept saying she was shaking and she was so afraid and she was so hurt that, and I'm never going to sit here and say, because we only know what the cameras picked up. She said that he used to yell at her all the time and he was rude to her all the time and he, all of that. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But I also feel like that he should have had an opportunity to respond to all of those accusations, especially since they were not in the same room. I could see if she were there in person, then I could kind of see where she was coming from. But the fact that he literally was on screen and she was literally a half a world away, I'm sorry. I just felt like, and I understand that they're producing the show, so I'm not mad at the producers for telling her that they would accommodate that. Because I think they probably felt like they could talk Andrew into doing it. But I don't blame him for leaving. I would have left too. Now, to be fair, most of the people on the show, most of his castmates, well, I ain't gonna say they were castmates, but they were feeling the same way. They were like, yo, he should be here. It's not fair that he's not here to defend himself. Now, Rebecca seemed like she was sort of leaning towards Amira's point of view on this and sort of kind of believing her version of the story before anybody had a chance to talk. But the more and more Amira talked, the less and less of an ally she had. For example, she made it seem like she never heard from Andrew at all the whole time she was in detention. That she never, ever, ever heard from Andrew at all. Never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever. But then they were like, because Jovi was the one that was kind of like, Jovi was like, so you mean when you got your phone back, there were no messages from Andrew? And she said, no, hardly any. He said, see, that's 2 different things. Hardly any and none, that's 2 different things. And I think once they sort of caught her in that play on words, I think everything sort of slipped from there. Yara was very critical of what she was saying. Natalie was very critical of some of the things she was saying. I mean, even by the end, Rebecca was even sort of like, well, there's definitely more to this story. And, Brandon was like, listen, it just don't make sense. Like, when you take her version of the story, and he said, I think Jovi was the one that said, it really sounds like neither one of them are telling the whole story, and the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. And that's probably what it really, and that's usually what it boils down to. I mean, most stories, that's what it boils down to. That you're not getting 100% of either story. You're getting, it's mine, truth is mine, yours, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. And, they say 3 sides to every story. And, I don't think that Andrew was as fair to Amira as he could have been. I definitely still feel like there was more he could have done, or at least not look like he was having so much fun without her. I definitely feel like he was putting a lot of pressure on her. When I said this, if you go back to my reviews, I said this throughout all of my reviews, that I didn't understand why they didn't just, once COVID shut everything down, why didn't they get a lawyer from the beginning, find out what their options were, see if they could put in an extension or something. It had to be something for extenuating circumstances. I understand that a lot of places closed and things were hard, but it seems to me like that money that you, Andrew, that money that you put into all them plane tickets and staying at a resort for 2 weeks and all that other stuff, it seems to me like you could have taken some of that effort, got an attorney to file the proper paperwork to extend this until the world was safe. It just was crazy to me. But the other thing we found out is She said that he was, trying to, force her or pressure her into having a baby as soon as she got to America, and that yes, she wanted to start a family, but she didn't want to get pregnant as soon as she walked in the door, and somebody on the panel said, well, you kind of have control over that. Like, I get it that wasn't a good thing, and and all of that, but ain't like. But then we found out that Amira is in love. She is over Andrew. She is in love, and he's the man of her dreams. He's the one, and come to find out, he is also from America. So I predict that Amira will be on the next season of a 90 Day Fiancé with her new fiance, and maybe we'll be able to get some of Andrew's side of the story. I don't know, but there definitely seem like there's more to this story. I don't know. Then we have Tariq, Minty, and Hazel. Listen, Tariq is a jerk. Tariq is an absolute jerk. Now, first of all, I felt like Tariq was a jerk after last week, because I felt like Tariq had a whole lot to say about everybody else's business. It had a whole lot of input on everybody else's business that ain't had nothing to do with her, okay? Had nothing to do with him and his relationship. But then, of course, the spotlight switched, and it's on him. Listen, Tariq, you are not the only person that has been in a polyamorous relationship. You're not the only person that's been in a whatever this relationship is that you and Minty have. And so when people were asking for you to explain to them, I don't think it was, I think some of it was in judgment, but all you had to do was explain it. You didn't have to start talking to people like they were 5. You didn't have to start acting like people could not comprehend or understand. All you had to do was explain your situation, okay? Then, come to find out, they done brought Minty up there, which of course Hazel was not having it. Well, come to find out, you are still talking to Minty. Every day. Sir, you clearly do not value your relationship, because I don't think your wife asked you to do something hard. She asked you to stop talking to a woman that she doesn't feel comfortable with you talking to. I don't feel like that was a hard thing. I don't feel like that was difficult. I feel like, if anything, that was just out of respect that you should have done it. And then to find out that you are still talking to Minty. Then, did y'all catch this? He said, they asked, have you been intimate? And he said, no. Did y'all see the look on Minty's face after he said no? Did y'all see the look on Minty's face? The look on Minty's face tells me that might not necessarily be true. I don't know. But Tariq, yeah, you came off as a whole jerk to me. Like a whole jerk to me. Anyway. Then we sort of doubled back to, so the last story we kind of revisited was from last season with Mike and Natalie. They brought on Mike's friend. If y'all remember last season, and they've been talking about this season, that Mike was at the wedding for her friend Sarah. He spent the night at her house. Natalie thought they accused him of cheating because she said that he spent the night over there and Mike was walking around without his shirt on. And so they brought Sarah on to sort of clear the air. And Sarah was like, well, first of all, a lot of people stayed in my house. My fiance was supposed to stay there that night, but, due to circumstances beyond, our control, he ended up not staying that night. But he was supposed to stay, and that nothing ever happened between Mike and I that night or any other night. We have never been intimate. We have just always been really good friends. Now, that damn, Brandon's wife, what's her name? Brandon's wife. She talking about something. I don't believe that men and women can't be just friends. Somebody's going to want to have sex with somebody else. Somebody's going to want to be. Okay, here's the thing. Maybe there might have been feelings. But it doesn't mean people always have to act on those feelings. I have a lot of male friends that I have never had sex with, and we are really close. We are like best friend, brother, sister close. We ain't never had sex with each other. There's never been no desire on my part to have sex with them, and I'm pretty certain there ain't been no desire on their part to have sex with me. I have friends that maybe at one point in time there was an attraction, but neither one of us acted on it, and we're just friends. So it can happen. The other thing was, and this is the part of the story that we didn't get, Sarah says that she talked to Natalie one time, and Natalie said to her, are all American girls hoes like you, or are all American girls hoes? And she said that the conversation got real nasty, and really quickly she said, I said some nasty things to her, she said some nasty things to me. Mike eventually hung up the phone, and so from that point forward, that's why I don't really like, I don't really like Natalie. I ain't really got nothing for Natalie because I ain't appreciate that whole situation. Of course, Natalie was like, I never said that, I never said that, I never said that. They went to Mike, and Mike was like, that conversation escalated quickly. And before Mike could say anything more, Natalie started talking again, which made me think, maybe you did say it, Natalie. Maybe you don't want Mike to speak on it, because sounds like it kind of cut Mike off. Anyway, that was pretty much it, y'all. It looks like next week they're starting a Happily Ever After season, which has some of the couples on there. It looks like Mike and Natalie's story is going to play out. We know that they're not together now, so it looks like they're going to show us kind of how that is going, or how it went. Brandon and Julia, that's it. Brandon and Julia is going to be on there. And it looks like Jovi and Yara. So we'll see. Now, I find it interesting that Jovi and Yara are going to be on there after they've been kind of dogging the show. And dogging production and saying that, it's fake and that the scenes are fake and stuff like that. And I'm like, so then why are you doing a whole nother show? Interesting. Anyway, we'll see what it is. Talk about it later. Peace.